Hello, my friends, the darkest corners. Today's tales will be slightly different. As I had a medical emergency last weekend and couldn't do a video last weekend, I am getting one out this weekend, but I'm also going to let my fan base use their imagination more on this video. Please enjoy, like, subscribe, and if you don't like, hit the don't like button. It helps the algorithm with YouTube. Thank you. Black site. Sky. The CIA never called it an artifact. On paper, it was Cultural Material Asset 7A, recovered during a humanitarian stabilization effort in the southern highlands of an unnamed third world country that no longer appeared on updated maps. Civil war had erased its borders. Famine had erased its cities. What remained was jungle, burned villages, and a mountain plateau no satellite could image clearly. That plateau was the problem. Every attempt to photograph it resulted in corrupted data. Infrared showed nothing but a void. Radar returned impossible depth readings, as if the mountain wasn't there at all. Someone on the ground had found something. The extraction team arrived under cover of night. Paramilitary contractors, agency field officers, and one linguist who had never been briefed properly, Elias Rowe. His job was to translate whatever the locals said about the object before they were evacuated or silenced, depending on how cooperative they were. The villagers called it the god that waits quietly. It wasn't buried, it wasn't hidden. It sat at the center of a stone ring older than the forest around it, a smooth black polyhedral object, the size of a coffin, floating 6 inches above scorched earth. No chains, no supports, no visible force holding it aloft. Every bird avoided the clearing. Every insect died at the perimeter. Rowe translated the warnings. They were ignored. The artifact emitted no radiation, no heat, no electromagnetic signature. It was perfectly inert by every instrument known to the agency. That made it priceless. Orders came down from Langley. Immediate removal. No further delays. As the team prepared a containment frame, the sky changed. Not dramatically, not with thunder or fire. The stars simply rearranged. Rowe was the first to notice constellations sliding out of alignment, as if the sky itself was rotating independently of the planet. Radios filled with static, layered beneath a low harmonic hum that vibrated through bone. Then the locals began screaming. They weren't looking at the artifact. They were looking up. The craft did not descend. It phased in, like a thought becoming solid. 3 shapes hovered above the plateau, angular, asymmetrical, wrong in ways human geometry couldn't describe. They reflected no light, yet bent the air around them, distorting the jungle into stretched liquid forms. The CIA team raised weapons. The weapons failed. Every electronic system shut down simultaneously. Optics went black. Safeties locked. Heart monitors flatlined, not from death, but from interference, as if the concept of a heartbeat had been briefly paused. A voice filled the clearing. Not spoken, not heard. This object is not yours. Rowe collapsed to his knees. The voice continued. It is not theirs either. One of the field officers shouted that this was sovereign territory, that the artifact was being secured for global safety. The words sounded ridiculous, even as he spoke them. The nearest craft shifted, and suddenly the team understood. The artifact wasn't technology. It was a marker. Images flooded their minds. Civilizations rising, discovering the object, building myths around it, then destroying themselves in wars over ownership. Every time humans tried to move it, hide it, weaponize it, something arrived to stop them. Not to protect humanity, to protect the balance. The artifact did not belong to Earth. Earth belonged to the artifact. One of the contractors broke ranks and fired a round at the floating object. The bullet stopped midair, unraveled into dust, and then time resumed. The jungle burned. The crafts emitted no weapons, no beams, no explosions. Instead, gravity inverted in localized pockets. Men were lifted, folded, compressed into impossible shapes, and then gently placed back onto the ground, alive but emptied. Breathing, blank. The message was clear. Interference would not be tolerated. The voice returned, softer now. Your species has reached the stage where removal is necessary. Roe screamed, not from pain, but understanding. This wasn't a warning about the artifact. It was a warning about human expansion, borders, ownership, extraction, all concepts the Watchers found unacceptable. The crafts rose. The artifact descended slowly into the earth, vanishing without leaving a crater, as if the planet itself had opened to swallow it. The sky corrected itself. The stars locked back into place. Power returned. Silence followed. Officially, the CIA operation was classified as a failed extraction due to insurgent interference and geological instability. Unofficially, a new directive was circulated at the highest levels. Do not pursue anomalous artifacts without confirmation of non-intervention status. Assume surveillance is constant. Roe was reassigned to a desk job. Years later, reviewing at the satellite feeds, he noticed something new. Across the globe, similar voids were appearing. Deserts, tundra, ocean floors, markers. And every time a government moved to claim one, the sky changed. The CIA had tried to steal from a third world country. They learned too late that the real owners were already here, and they had been patient only until now. The prairie births. The call reached the FBI's Minneapolis field office in late February when North Dakota was nothing but frozen wheat stubble and endless gray sky. Agent Mara Klein was the first to flag it. 4 women, 4 rural counties, no shared doctors, no shared social circles, no known perpetrators. Each woman had gone to a hospital complaining of severe abdominal pain, disorientation, and missing time. All 4 were confirmed pregnant, between 8 and 10 weeks along, despite medical records showing infertility, contraceptive use, or complete sexual inactivity. One of the attending physicians added a detail that moved the case from medical anomaly to federal concern. The ultrasounds didn't look right. The fetuses showed abnormal development patterns, accelerated growth, irregular heart rhythms, and skeletal structures that did not match human norms. One technician quit mid-shift after claiming the ultrasound image looked back at her. Local law enforcement was overwhelmed. The word cult had been floated, then dismissed. There were no ritual sites, no symbols, no gatherings. The women lived miles apart, separated by flat land and gravel roads that vanished under snowdrifts. The FBI assigned Klein and her partner, Agent Thomas Brewer, to investigate quietly. North Dakota had a way of swallowing secrets. The women all reported the same phenomenon. A dream. Each described waking in their own homes to the sound of knocking, not at the door, but inside the walls. A heavy, rhythmic thudding, like something walking through the house from the inside out. They remembered a presence, tall, indistinct, smelling of wet earth and iron. None could recall a face, only a voice. Low, patient, certain. You were chosen because no one would believe you. After that, nothing. Hours gone. Morning light. Pain. Pregnancy. Brewer approached the case clinically, searching for environmental toxins, experimental drugs, mass hysteria. Klein listened more closely to what people wouldn't say out loud. In every town, older residents avoided eye contact when asked about local legends. Eventually, a retired farmer broke. He told them about the sour before settlement, before roads, before fences, a thing that lived beneath the prairie soil, something that came during the hard winters when the land was empty and people were isolated. It didn't hunt men. It didn't take children. It planted. The farmer said the old families believed the land itself demanded heirs. When humans stopped listening, the land sent something to correct the balance. Brewer dismissed it. Klein did not. The 5th pregnancy appeared 3 weeks later. Then the 6th. The FBI escalated. A joint task force established a temporary base near an abandoned missile silo outside Minot. Thermal drones were deployed. Ground-penetrating radar scanned miles of farmland. The soil beneath the prairie showed vast hollow networks, tunnels that should not exist, stretching deep and wide like a circulatory system. Something was moving underground. On March 19th, one of the women went into premature labor. What emerged was not viable by human standards. The medical team sealed the delivery room and called federal authorities. The infant, or thing resembling one, was transferred to a secure containment facility. It did not cry, it listened. Sensors recorded neural activity far beyond human infants. Its skin was pale, translucent, veined with dark lines that pulsed in response to sound. When a technician whispered, the heart rate spiked. The autopsy was inconclusive. The body deteriorated rapidly once separated from the mother, collapsing into inert tissue within hours. That was when the pregnancy stopped. No more dreams, no more missing time. The tunnels beneath the prairie went quiet. The FBI classified the case. Files were buried. Official explanations cited environmental contamination and psychological contagion. Agent Brewer requested a transfer. Agent Klein stayed long enough to read the historical land records. Every affected property, every woman, lived on land seized through eminent domain in the 1960s. The missile program, federal land acquisition, families displaced, soil sealed, roots cut off. The prairie had been interrupted. The twist came 6 months later. Klein received a sealed memorandum stamped internal, do not distribute. The pregnancies had not ended. They had moved. Military hospitals, federal housing, women stationed at remote bases, wives of personnel living on land owned by the government. The memo concluded with a recommendation. Further investigation is not advised. The entity demonstrates adaptive intelligence and appears responsive to federal presence. Continued attention may constitute provocation. Attached was a final note, handwritten from an unnamed analyst. It isn't targeting women. It's targeting ownership. Klein looked out across the prairie one last time before leaving North Dakota. The land was quiet, flat, innocent, but deep beneath it, something had learned a new map, and it knew exactly who lived on its soil now.